Alright, so we're going to go ahead and head over to our note over here. And if we look at it, you can see there's our text that we did. And if we open it up, you can see the text. It reads everything we say. We put nothing on the back or anything like that, but there it is. To whoever finds this, I'm tired of being trapped in this room. This doesn't look, and all the info. And if we click on it, you can see the details of the note as we did in the last episode. So there it is. There's our note.
Hey guys, it's Techno Freak here, and welcome to episode 28 of my custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia Rebirth. And today we're going to be doing part 2 of notes. Nothing really to do with the notes themselves, rather the textures that we show the player when they're playing in our level. So really, this is an episode on custom entities. But we didn't really formally do custom entities yet, so it's more just going to be it's going to be very, just very rudimentary, only talking about things that we absolutely need to talk about just to get this note in our level with our custom textures and everything. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So first thing we want to do, we want to copy some entity files from the core game. We used the one from Cave Note 01. So what I'm going to go ahead and open up to the root directory of Amnesia here. And we're going to go ahead and go into entities, and then we're going to go ahead and go into Cave, gameplay, and then I believe it was Note Caves. And we used, for ours, we used Note Caves 01. So we're going to stick with this one. Of course, you can use whichever other one you want, but the reason I use the Note Caves is because there's actually no like text written on it. It's like a blank piece of paper. So that's why I'm using this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the four files here that have Note Caves 01 in it, and I will include this one as well. Note Caves 01, and I'm going to go ahead and hit copy, and I'm going to go ahead and paste these over in our mods folder. So let's go ahead and go there. So it's going to be the wake, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder in here called entities. So I'm going to do new folder entities. And then inside of entities, we're going to go ahead and paste all that stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and rename all these files. And we're going to rename it to the name of our note pretty much. In our level editor, we pretty much just called it like Note Room 1. So we're going to stick with the same thing. We're going to call it Note Room 1. And let me just copy this to make it easier to paste into these other ones. So we go ahead and paste it here, Note Room 1. And then Note Room 1, and just pretty much just change all of these to Note Room 1 here, and Note Room 1. Alright, so now we got them all renamed. Next thing we want to do, to make sure that our custom story can load up any files inside of this entities folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this resources config file right here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new line. So I'm just going to copy one that we had from before. And we want to go ahead and call it our entities folder. So entities, and we'll go ahead and hit save here. So now we should be able to add it to our custom story. So our custom story will pretty much look inside of this entities folder when it needs certain files that we've requested for it. Now with that, we're pretty much done getting our entity files in here. What we want to do next now is actually do the part where we edit and make our custom texture and stuff. So that's done here with this file. I'll go ahead and go into properties here, and you can see this is a .dds file right here. So this is an image file that they use in the game. So we're going to go ahead and edit this image file to get it to do what we want, pretty much to show what we want. So I'm going to be using a program called GIMP, G-I-M-P. I'll put the link in the description. You don't have to use this one. If you have like Photoshop or something else, or any other image editing software that can edit DDS files, you could probably use that. I'm going to be using GIMP just because it's free. So if any of you guys want to use the same one, feel free to do so. So I could do open with GIMP, and it should open up with GIMP. So it's starting up now. I'm going to bring over the screen here for you guys to see. It should load up our file here in any second now. So now we also have a message here just telling us how we want to import it. We're just going to leave the default here and hit OK. And now this is our file here. You probably can't see very much, but I'm going to show you guys something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer here. So I'm going to right click right here, and I'm going to do a new layer, and we're just going to call it BG for background. And then what I'm going to do, I want to put it at the very bottom here, and then I'm going to go ahead and just paint it in black, so that now you can see there's our texture for our notes. It was partially transparent, so it was kind of hard to see. So this is only going to be a temporary texture that we're going to be using here, a temporary layer. We'll delete it when we're done, but that's just so that we can see. And then what we're going to do now, so the way that the text is displayed when you do it, this is actually inverted. So this is the back of the page, this is the front of the page. If we were to take this layer and let's say do image, transform, and then flip horizontally, now this is actually the way it should be. So this is the front of the page, this is the back of the page, and the text will appear this way right here. So I'll keep it like this, and I'll put the text and everything I want, and then I'll flip it back over when we're done to make sure that the orientation is correct. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and use the text tool to put some text on here, and then we can select our font that we want. I'm going to stick to this one here, Kunstler Script. So this one is just some random script. Of course, if you want to download your own fonts and use them, you can also feel free to do so. I'm just going to be using one of the built-in Microsoft fonts here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. And now we can, start typing text here, and you can change the size and stuff like that. Let's change the size a little bit bigger here. I think maybe a little larger than this would be a good idea. Maybe let's do like 80. Yeah, so 80, and then let's go ahead and go back in here, and yeah, let's just leave it at that. That should be fine. And I'll go ahead and put the text I want to display on this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our CodeLight application. I'm going to go ahead and copy the message that's supposed to be in this note, the one that we did in the last episode. So let me go down all of it, and then we'll go ahead and copy this, and we will go ahead and open up our GIMP application here and paste it right there. So clearly we need to add some spaces here, so let's go ahead and just hit enter here and get all the text to show on this side over here. Again, you can feel free to do whatever. If you want to put a picture in here, you can also feel free to put a picture. It doesn't really matter, whatever you want. So there it is. There's our text. Probably shift it over a little bit to the left here. Maybe something like right here. And if you want to put a title, whatever, you can, but I'm going to keep it very simple. Just put the message here. So it looks pretty good, I think. Now this is the point where we have to do some start deleting some layers, flipping this stuff, and merging some stuff here. So what I recommend, if every image editing program has their own file type that you can save. So you can do file and save, and this will save in the GIMP format, so you could come back and edit some of the stuff. So what I would recommend is I would save this whole project, save the project as a project file, as a GIMP project file, and then if you ever want to come back and edit any of this, you can do it. I'm not going to be saving it because it's just an example here, but if it was for my own custom story, I would probably save a project. I'll do a save as here and save it as a GIMP project, so I could come back and edit any of this stuff and export it to a DDS down the line. But again, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to just be doing an export right away without saving a project file. So at this point, like I said, what we do here, there's no going back. So make sure you save your project here if you plan on if this is in testing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and merge down this layer here. So we're going to right click here and we're going to say merge down, and it's going to merge it with this main surface layer that we had here. So now this is all one layer merged with the text. I can undo it just so you guys can see. This is the text, this is the whole picture here. We're going to go ahead and hit merge down, and now we've merged the two layers. Now again, we got to flip it back horizontally, so we're going to do layer, transform, flip horizontally. Now you can see it's inverted and stuff,
And then what we're going to do now is delete our background here. So we're going to do right click it and hit delete layer. So now this is all we have left. So now we're going to export it out to our DDS file. So what I'm going to do, make sure you select the main surface one here, the first one here, the one that has the actual, you know, content that you're going to be showing the player in the game. And then we're going to do file, and we're going to do export as, and then it should already take us to the directory that the image is in. So you can see it right here. We're going to overwrite the original one here, and we're going to do export. It's going to ask if we want to replace it, and we're going to hit yes. And this is why I say you should probably save your project before you do any of those things. And then this is like a message. It'll pretty much let you select what kind of parameters you want to put in when you create the image. So it should be on image selected layer. So our layer here is main surface, and we're gonna do generate. We're gonna generate our own mini maps here. So we're gonna do generate mini maps, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit export here. And now it's gonna go ahead and export to our folder that we have there. If we do open as layers, we can see it here. We could click to get a preview, and you can see it populates properly. We can't really see the detailed text here, but it should be there. So now we're pretty much done with doing GIMP here. This is with our image editor. So we're gonna go ahead and close out of this. And again, I'm not saving the project, so I'm just gonna go ahead and discard changes here. So we have that all done. So now we have our new image, our new texture that we want to show. Now we have to actually save those in the entity file and in our material file here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the root directory of the Amnesia folder here, and we're going to go ahead and first open up the material editor right here. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. So it's opening. So this is what it should look like here, the materials editor. We're going to go ahead and hit file, open, and we're going to go into our our custom story folder, entities folder, and our material file should be there with our name that we gave it, note room 1. We're going to load it, and as you can see, there's the texture. Of course, it's not our texture, it's the original caves texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit dot 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 here, and you can see we already have it right here. But if you're not in this screen here, you're going to go into the root directory, Amnesia Rebirth, go into mods, your mod, entities, and boom, there's our DDS file, our custom one that we created with our text on it. So we're gonna hit OK, and you can see it right there. We can even zoom in on it, and you can see our text, and you can see it all around and everything. So that's all good there. So we're gonna go hit file, save. So we're gonna save that note room 1 material file, and then we can go ahead and close out of it and hit yes, and we're all done with editing the material. Now the last thing is we're gonna edit the entity, and we're gonna use the model editor for that. So we're gonna do model editor. We're gonna double click it, and let me bring it over to this screen, and we're gonna go ahead and hit file, open, and again in our mods folder, our custom story folder, entities, there should be our entity file right there. So this is it. If you notice, this doesn't have like our texture or anything like that. It's just the regular original texture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit edit, model outline. We're gonna click on mesh right here, and then you can see the material here. So there's the material that should be applied to it. We're gonna hit dot dot dot, and we just saved that material. So we're gonna go into our mods folder, the wake, entities, and there's our material file that we just saved. So hit it, and now you can see our text shows up on the file here. So perfect. So now we're just going to go ahead and do file, save, and there it is. We have our entity file saved, and we can go ahead and exit. So I know we used a lot of software here, but all these model editors and level editors, or model editors and material editors, should already be here. Especially if you already have the level editor in your folder here. The only additional software you might need is image editing software. Again, I use GIMP, but you can feel free to use whatever you want. But that's pretty much it. We went ahead and edited all those files. Now there's only one last thing we have to do. Let's go ahead and go into our level editor here, and here's our note. So what we're gonna do is go under general, and we're gonna do dot dot on this part right here that says note caves 01. We're gonna hit dot dot dot, and we're gonna go into our Amnesia Rebirth folder. We're gonna go into mods, the wake, entities, and then select note room 1, we'll hit load. And if we look at our note here now, you can see that's our custom texture with our custom text and everything. So everything went into the game properly. If let's say you didn't want to change this texture that was on the outside, you only wanted to change the actual note when you look at it, you can also do that. And the way you do that is you actually don't load in your entity file here. You don't load any of this in. You'd leave it as caves, caves, whatever, note cave 1. And then what you do is you put the name of your entity file here instead. So you would do like no room 1 here without the .ent at the end. And then it will, when you open up the note, it actually shows you the your texture. It just won't show it in the actual level, but this kind of gives the full experience to the player. So this is the better way, if you ask me. And in the future, we will probably also talk about how to just add our note into our level editor as a whole nother entity, because at this point we really could. And it's actually fairly simple on doing that. So in a future episode, when we talk about custom entities, we might reference back this instance where we made our note and everything. But yeah, so with that, we're pretty much done. Let's go ahead and save up our level here, and let's go ahead and go back to our file here, and we're gonna just go ahead and launch up our custom story and check it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so here we are in our custom story. So let's go ahead and head over to our note and let's have a look at it. And you can see there's our text on our note and stuff. Of course, it's hard to make out because it's so small, but you can see it here. So we're gonna go ahead and click it, and you can see there's our text to whoever finds this. I am tired of being trapped in this room, and pretty much our whole text that we copied in there. And of course, there's nothing on the other side. If you wanted to, you could put something on the other side. That's what the other side of that image file was for. So if you wanted to put it, you can also put an image here if you wanted, anything really. And that's pretty much it. And of course, from the last episode, if we click it, and you can see what it actually reads in case the player can't actually read the script that's on the screen here. And it pretty much says the same thing that we copied from. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's our file and everything. So it's all done. Pretty cool stuff, really fun stuff. That's kind of giving you guys a taste of how we do custom entities. And pretty soon we'll be talking about how to add custom entities to our level editor and stuff. So we might make a reference to this episode in that episode. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really cool stuff. Got more videos coming soon. Still haven't decided what's next, so I'll see what I decide to do, but stay tuned. Some cool stuff coming soon. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one, guys. Bye.